Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm excited to have you here today. Today's presentation is titled Psychology of People Who Have Never Been in Love. We'll explore what might be going on inside the minds of those who haven't experienced love yet. Over the next few slides, we'll cover some interesting insights and perspectives on this fascinating topic. So let's get started. Let's talk about a concept I like to call the unspoken truth. Often, we see love portrayed as something universal, an experience everyone will have at some point. But here's the interesting part. Psychology reveals a less obvious truth. Some people have never truly been in love, and that might surprise you. It's not because they're incapable of love or because they've avoided intimacy altogether. Instead, it's because their hearts refuse to settle for anything less than authenticity. They're seeking genuine connection and honesty, and they won't accept anything less. This idea ties into our overall theme, understanding love on a deeper level, beyond the surface stories we often hear. It's about recognizing that true love isn't just about feelings, but about connection rooted in realness. Not a failure. That's the first thing I want to emphasize. What we're often told or might think is a failure isn't actually that at all. It's not coldness, shyness, or emotional detachment. In fact, sometimes what looks like emotional withdrawal actually comes from a very different place. It can stem from a deep awareness of what love truly means and the scars that can be left behind when love is misplaced or unreciprocated. So, what might seem like a failure or a flaw is often a protective mechanism, a sign of sensitivity and understanding. It's important to recognize this because it shifts how we see ourselves and others. Instead of judging these behaviors harshly, we can view them as a sign of emotional depth and awareness, which ties back to the overall theme of understanding and compassion in our relationships. So, let's explore why some people have never been in love. This can be a surprising concept for many, but there are real reasons behind it. For some, it might be due to personal circumstances or life choices that haven't led them to romantic relationships yet. Others may have experienced fears or insecurities that prevent them from opening up emotionally. Sometimes, it's about timing or past experiences that make someone hesitant or cautious about love. It's important to understand that not being in love doesn't mean there's something wrong with a person. It often reflects individual circumstances, personality traits, or even societal factors. Recognizing these reasons helps us see love as a complex, multifaceted experience, rather than a simple, universal expectation. Connecting this to our overall theme, it reminds us that love isn't a one-size-fits-all journey. Each person's experience is unique, shaped by their background, personality, and life circumstances. Understanding why some haven't experienced love yet can foster greater empathy and patience in our interactions with others. They value depth over chance. While many people might jump into relationships because of timing, convenience, or just chemistry, these individuals take a different approach. They hold themselves to a higher standard when it comes to choosing a partner. It's not just about feeling attracted in the moment or enjoying good chemistry. They don't confuse attraction with love, or a simple companionship with a real, meaningful connection. For them, it's about quality over quantity, and truly understanding what kind of bond they're building. This mindset ties back to the overall theme of intentionality and authenticity in relationships. It's about seeking something deeper, rather than settling for surface-level interactions. So instead of settling for just any connection, these individuals are actually attuned to something much rarer. And what is that? It's a bond that truly resonates with their soul. It's not just about surface-level compatibility, but something deeper and more meaningful. To them, being with the wrong person can feel incredibly isolating, lonelier even than waiting alone. It highlights how powerful genuine connection is. It's about that profound feeling of being truly understood and connected on a soul level. This idea ties back to our overall theme, that authentic relationships aren't just nice to have, they're essential for our well-being. They understand love's dual power. Love, you see, is both medicine and fire. It has the incredible ability to heal, inspire, and transform us, making us better, stronger, more compassionate. But at the same time, love can wound, deceive, and even destroy if we're not careful. It's a force that carries both light and darkness. People who haven't experienced love firsthand often understand this more deeply than most. They've seen heartbreak in others, learned from those stories, and quietly decided not to give their hearts away easily, at least not without certainty. And I think it's important to see that this restraint isn't born from fear, it's born from wisdom. Now, these individuals, instead of despairing or feeling bitter, carry hope. They're quietly optimistic. They notice love all around them, in friendships, in art, in small acts of kindness from strangers. They appreciate the presence of love without rushing after it. They don't fill the silence with substitutes or quick fixes. Instead, they choose to live fully, embracing life's moments and leaving space for love to come naturally when the time is right. Their patience isn't about emptiness or waiting in vain. It's a form of faith, faith that love will find its way to them when the moment is right. And I think these points tie back beautifully to our overall theme, that love is complex, powerful, and requires a balance of hope, wisdom, and patience. It's about understanding love's dual nature and respecting its unpredictable, yet ultimately rewarding, journey. When we look at people labeled as unlucky hearts from the outside, we might think they're just overly cautious or maybe even incapable of forming deep connections. But here's the interesting part. Psychology suggests the opposite. Their high standards aren't about limitations. They actually reflect a kind of inner clarity and self-awareness. These individuals aren't seeking fleeting excitement or superficial infatuation. Instead, they're after something more meaningful, a lasting, genuine connection that provides stability and grounding. This is a key point because it highlights how what might seem like caution or aloofness actually stems from a clear understanding of what love truly is. It ties into our overall theme that authentic relationships require us to see beyond surface judgments and recognize the deeper intentions behind people's behaviors. What this reveals about love is that it cannot be forced or rushed. True connection depends on timing, readiness, and mutual alignment, more than just desire alone. It's important to understand that not having been in love isn't a flaw or a deficiency. Sometimes, it can actually be a sign of emotional depth, self-awareness, and a conscious choice to stay true to your inner truth. Patience in love, then, becomes a real strength. Choosing quality over quantity takes courage, especially in a world that often promotes speed and instant gratification. Ultimately, genuine love isn't about rushing. It's about honoring the natural process and the values that truly matter. Some hearts are not broken by love, they are simply waiting for it. And this waiting isn't passive or hopeless, it's intentional. It's about being open and prepared for what's to come. Waiting in fullness of life means we're living fully, nurturing ourselves, and staying hopeful. Maybe you know someone who's like this, or perhaps that person is you. If that's the case, remember this: your story isn't behind schedule and your heart isn't late. Love doesn't have a deadline. It might not have arrived yet, but that doesn't mean it never will. Actually, love often shows up not when we're desperately chasing it, but when we're already whole and living with purpose. When love finally comes, it's less of a surprise and more of a recognition, like recognizing something familiar that's been there all along. So I want you to ask yourself, do you believe love can still find you, even if it hasn't yet? Because both psychology and life teach us that for hearts that wait courageously, love always has the potential to arrive.